Welcome to another Teamflect tutorial. In this video, we'll be showing you how you can use Teamflect for 360-degree feedback. If you haven't practiced it before, 360 feedback is a performance evaluation method that gathers input from peers, direct reports, supervisors, and self-assessments, even people outside of your organization. And here we are inside Teamflect's feedback module under the My 360 Feedback tab. And if we go into an existing 360 feedback cycle, we can see that it has three sections: self-assessment, feedback providers, and results. Under the self-assessment section, the subject of the feedback answers questions about their own performance. As you can see, we have multiple different question types here, from open-ended to multiple choice to rating questions. And once you've completed your self-assessment, all you need to do is click Submit. Let's move on to the second section, which is feedback providers. This is where you can select who will be part of the 360 feedback process. Anyone from managers and supervisors to direct reports to peers, or even people outside of your organization. In fact, let's send a feedback request to a direct report right now. We're sending our request to Laura Miller. And we have the option to write a note as well. Now let's see what happens when we send a feedback request to someone. Switching to Laura's view now, as you can see, they just received our feedback request inside Microsoft Teams chat. And all they have to do is click View in App. And this is the feedback form they will be receiving. All they will have to do is fill out this feedback form and click Submit. Now, let's go back to our 360 feedback cycle and let's see what feedback results look like. As you can see, results for each category is separated, and under the direct reports section, we can see everyone's responses, and we can switch back and forth between different feedback providers as well, like so. If we scroll down, we can view all the feedback we received from people outside of our organization, like so. And if we go past this, we will be reaching the analysis section. This is where we can see our overall scores, how answers were distributed among different questions, and of course, a handy triangle chart showing you how scores and answers were distributed once again. And below the triangle chart, you will see an AI-generated summary of all the feedback you received through this 360-degree feedback cycle. The rest of this video is for Teamflect administrators. Teamflect admins can manage every single aspect of the feedback being exchanged in their organization through the Admin Center. All we need to do is head over to Modules and select Feedback. Once here, you can see that we have two options: managing our 360-degree feedback cycles or creating a 360-degree feedback template. Let's do the second one. Right here, you can see all the available 360 feedback templates. We can either edit an existing template or create a new one. To create a new template, first we have to give it a name. And if we want to, we can add a description. We can toggle whether we want AI summaries or not, and whether this template can only be sent by admins or through the Teamflect app. Then we need to select which sections we want included in our 360-degree feedback. Do we want a self-assessment section? If yes, then we'll add some self-assessment question sets. We can look for a question set we want and simply add it. Let's move on to another section. Let's include peers in the feedback process as well. And of course, I'm selecting which feedback template the peers section will be drawing its questions from. And if I scroll down, there are some other settings I can adjust with peer feedback. I can select whether or not Teamflect will automatically ask feedback from my teammates for the peers section, minimum and maximum number of feedback providers, as well as visibility settings. Let's move on to automation. We have three options here. This can either be a one-time cycle, or we can automate it periodically, or we can automate it for employees who complete a certain number of days with the company. When it comes to selecting feedback receivers and providers, we can either manually select them, select users in Microsoft Teams groups, or we can upload them in bulk using a CSV file. Once we're finished, all we need to do is click Start. But that about brings us to the end of this tutorial. We hope you found it helpful. If you have any questions, never hesitate to contact the Teamflect support staff.